Connecting Humans Live is live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, you remarkable Homo sapiens. Without further ado, welcome to this dinner table where I'm taking you to the kitchen of the one and only who's going to bring you some spicy flavors from Switzerland right away. And I would love to introduce you to everybody who's sitting around the virtual dinner table right now. But if you're with us too, let us know what is in your glass right now. What is in your glass? But from me, let's say hello to Mr. Gamberoni in his kitchen. Hello.
Hello. How's everybody? I'm Alex.
What are you doing today?
I am preparing the starter, guacamole, Mexican. I am half Mexican, so here I am. I've got my onions, I've got my tomatoes, my avocados, lemon, coriander. It's going to be fantastic. And in my glass, a Merlot from Switzerland. Cheers.
And Merlot.
This dinner.
Wonderful. Okay, are you ready for everybody who's with me on the table? There are 4 other amazing human beings, starting all the way from the Strauss to the Pascal. Hello.
Hey, Erik. Hey, Alex. Nice to see you again. No, yeah, nice to see you again. But nice to see you, Erik. Alexandre. Nice to see you again. No. Cheers. I have a white wine.
Let's see if we have any ladies there. We have ladies coming in from Switzerland with us. Let's welcome the Bronsil to the Mandy.
Hello.
Hello, Mandy.
Hello. What's in your glass?
So I've got some white wine. I've got a Chardonnay that I'm drinking.
Oh, wow.
Pascal, what do we think about the level of Chardonnay in that glass?
Well, let's see. Well, wait. Since when are you now already sitting in front of your laptop?
Well, it wasn't to the top at the beginning, but it went down by about half already, I admit.
But we are starting, so Celia.
Okay, great. We continue. We have 2 more people coming with us around this table today. And let's bring on a gentleman. I believe he is somewhere in the middle of Europe. Hello there.
Hi. How's everyone going? Yes, I'm actually in Germany right now. And before it's off, I'm drinking a lovely Tempranillo from Rioja, Spain.
Wow, nice.
Oh, looking good. Thank you so much, Andreas. Last but not least, a lady that's been with us before, and I believe now she's not driving. She was doing that the last time, so I'm really glad that she's not driving right now. And it's the Danielle Hellebrand.
Cheers. I'm also drinking a glass of wonderful Chardonnay.
Oh, wow.
And I'm looking forward to speaking to you guys now and not driving my car. So cheers to a lovely evening.
Lovely. I see that we have a lot of people with us right now. Martina Leap is coming in. Renee is coming in. Careful with that knife, Alexandre. All the way from... She's carrying there. Jess is with us. Yes, and she has... What is that, Jess? Vimtus. Okay, that was a new wine for me. Okay, Jess, if you want to let us know, that's a new wine. Martina Lip, she has a white wine. I don't know which one. Please share with us. Elia, he is having a healthy smoothie with him because it's the morning. Where are you right now? No idea what that is.
Dr. Elia is Dr. Happiness. He's known as Dr. Happiness. He's a very nice person.
I saw you shared a comment from him today about trust and loyalty, right?
Yes, right.
Beautiful. We can count that. Collins, he is the healthy one. He's doing water.
Yeah.
And Renee is doing a kefir and cranberry juice. Okay. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm going to kind of stop talking too much here. I just got to let the conversations flow for everybody who's with us. This is Connect the Humans Live. Raw conversations around the dinner table. We take it wherever you want to take it. Let it flow. And I think I'm just going to leave it over to who feels like sharing the first things on their chest this evening, or morning?
Well, something I've been hearing lately is something that comes on the table quite often, but it's very important, especially nowadays, is the place of women in society. And with us tonight, and I think this is a topic we can talk about, because I keep hearing the discrepancy in salaries, the rights, and the way they are treated, etc., etc. And a documentary I've seen not long ago is a lady who had a lot of microphone on her, and she was followed by some cameras, and you could hear the comments she'd received. And as a man, I felt ashamed. I don't know what you think about it. But
ladies.
I didn't see what you what you're referring to, but I think in general it's a tricky subject because there's clear discrepancy. There is a huge. I mean, there is still a big difference in between the salaries, and I think we're progressing. Women are getting better salaries. Equality is going up, but I think at this rate we'll be lucky to reach salary equality in like 2070 or something. I don't remember what the year was. Really far away. So okay, it's getting better, but it's going extremely slowly. So clearly there is still some way to go. Having said that, I read a study not long ago that said that in fact, so there is men are being paid more, but women are happier at work. So this is pretty interesting because that actually shows that we're measuring sort of satisfaction on a different scale. And I thought that really was good food for thought, because should we be wanting exactly the same thing as men, or should we be fighting for our own level of happiness? I don't think our brains are the same. I mean, I'm not at all saying it's fair, but I think we're wired differently. And in this sense, I do think it's really important to put things in perspective and to see, okay, what makes women happier, rather than, okay, if we have equal salaries, will that actually achieve the goal of us managing everything? I don't know if that's out there, but it's a controversial point of view, I know. But I think it's important not to lose track of what do we want at the end of the day.
Yeah, but I don't think so. The salary should be the only issue. There is also opportunity to be promoted. There is also the way you treat it. There's also, I mean, absolutely. There's a lot of different things besides salary.
A lot, totally.
It's very interesting that you bring that to the table, because we have a happiness expert in the audience, and we have a neuroscientist right here at the table, Danielle. So how do you see that? It's really, and please, all the people out there, this was not scripted or whatsoever. It just came to the table.
It just came to the table because I thought we were going to talk, how are we doing in this COVID times, and what are we going to do next, and how are we preparing ourselves for the things that are coming up. So, the strange thing is, I never thought of that. Like, I had a feeling I was earning less than my male colleagues did. Maybe because I also have my own company for a lot of years. So, the things that clients pay me, they pay me the things I think I'm worth. And, after these COVID times, we have the chance to redefine a lot of things. That is the things that I think are so excited at these times, where in the beginning I had this anxiety and these negative feelings. Then I thought, well, this is also giving the world and all of us and our companies a chance, to step out of the rat race and redefine ourselves. And now I'm in a situation that I'm so curious, what's coming up next. I'm so curious, and I'm so thrilled about all the wonderful conversations I have with a lot of people all over the world. So I'm just at the moment in this phase of curiosity. about what's coming up next and what are we going to do together and in this world and in our companies.
And I must say, I just had a pitch on that subject where it was really the core on it, like everything that we're talking about now. And I'm thinking like this, right? Very, very practical in a way. We literally know how to have virtual dinners around the globe right now. We know how to travel to the moon. We know how to travel the globe in, say, 24 hours. But one of the hottest topics on the table in politics, in human rights and so forth, is still that equal pay and how we're treating women, how we're treating people of different race, different sex. And I'm just sitting here thinking, hello, isn't it time for us to evolve in that type of more humane area of living as well? And that's why I think now when we brought it up, it's a really good topic to just browse through as is. Do we really want to keep living in this way after, say, in 2021? How long do we want to stay in this way?
Exactly.
Until it gets better.
Well, we gotta start making it better, right?
But what can we do? I mean, as Mandy said, the changes is coming, but it goes so slowly.
In that area, yeah.
Changes we've seen with COVID-19, the changes coming from almost one day to another.
Mm-hmm.
So how come this situation that is now on the table for decades, we're still talking about it?
Because we talk.
There is something that's been said as well, that you know that when we work for a company, we should not talk about our salaries. Okay, I should not talk about salaries with my colleague, for example. And my question is, why not?
Exactly.
Talk about it.
I love transparency. Yeah. And you know,
well, just to give,
We know.
sorry, Pascal.
just to give my dear friends, that is already existing also in bigger companies. So if you look at the Zemco company, for example, in Brazil,
Exactly.
where everybody can actually even choose their own salary, they just have to make it public, and people will ask the right question: why the hell do you get a raise? No, for example. So they will have a more of a dialogue in the tribe, and I think that's actually also the challenge that we have these different levels of understanding, the different levels of education, but also different levels of understanding of being conscious with some things, and this is it's still a smaller circle that is conscious about these things, and this is what we have to bring into the world. So Erik, I completely agree with you. It is completely necessary. And why the hell is it not like this? Well, because it's going so slowly, because it's not on the top of the mind. Look at the educational system, look at every there. So we have a lot to do, and COVID gave us the chance, I think, even to connect to each other and to bring that knowledge more.
And I'm with you, Pascal. There are a lot of companies who are doing that already, and you know, and I think people want to talk and to think about these subjects. And I'm a part of an organization. It's called the Corporate Rebels. They're doing the same work like. I'm sorry, Mike. They're doing the same work like. I'm sorry, that was my phone. I was slightly distracted. There are a lot of companies who are talking about that and who are having this radical transparency. And I think it's up to us. It's up to us now to help to develop these kind of things. Mm-hmm. You know, we now have the chance to reorganize and think about new ways of living, combining family and work. We have so many chances now, so I see it very positive, and I think it's also up to us to work on these kind of subjects and to be a good example. And to lead by example and to talk about it and spread the news.
I totally agree with that. I think the more taboos there are, the more subjects can't go forward. because it's just society keeps it hidden, and so everybody feels uncomfortable about it, and you can't move forward without information, and without knowledge you can't advance. So the first thing is, I totally agree, is blow it open, and then let's see what we're dealing with.
Now I have something for all of you and everybody's listening everybody right now, because you just triggered me right there, Mandy. I had this conversation with a friend, and she said, Erik, I think the scariest thing these days, these times, is to have an opinion, especially on social media. Because as soon as I share my opinion, especially on social media, but also, she said, also with my friends or with family, they're always going to start to try to shut me down or do something or tell me that my opinion is wrong or I can't think like this. And she was actually referring to this thing of that she didn't want to have children. So going back to the connection to what you were doing there, Mandy, yeah, but we are so afraid of talking, because aren't we just so afraid? What is your thought of that, of sharing your opinion? What is the thought of sharing your opinion on social media? Like even right now, I can see that compared to the last time we went live, the chat is kind of silent quietly.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a fear of judgment. Everyone is scared of being judged by everyone else. And social media doesn't help, because on social media, everyone looks perfect. So then the moment that you're not perfect, nobody actually really is perfect, right? So the moment you're not perfect, you feel inferior, and then you sort of tell yourself you're inferior. And then when you do dare speak up, you speak up so timidly that in fact, you're going to get squashed anyway. I think it's a vicious cycle.
That's a vicious cycle. I'm so with you, Mandy. And that's the scary thing, or the thing about social media. Everyone has an opinion, and the fear of rejection is one of the biggest pains in our brain, is the pain of rejection and the fear of rejection. It's in the same area of the brain as the physical pain. So the moment you have this comments of rejection in social media, it hurts like hell. And that is why we don't dare to express ourselves enough on social media. Just, we're a little bit scared for all the shit that can come up. So yeah.
So in its own, isn't the solution quite simple? Don't judge.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yes.
Try to. It's difficult, but yeah.
I've got a precision to make. Everyone judge. That's part of being a human. We do judge. I mean, you like an ice cream, you like the other ice cream, you're going to judge it. What we should not do is to condemn people for their thought, for who they are. Judging is a normal human being things, but don't condemn someone because he's different than you. You can share an opinion, you not agree, and agree to disagree, basically. And that's what we have to think about.
I mean, like, if I could just interject, like, on this topic. So I'm currently a student, so I don't have a full-time job or haven't graduated yet. But I'm always told by my lecturers and anyone that I've worked with in the industry, especially like HR managers, like, I have my Facebook privacy set up so efficiently that you can't know what I'm doing unless you're my friend to begin with. I don't post on Instagram because I'm not part of the Instagram movement. Twitter I barely use. Only because I'm just told, and like most of the people I know is told, like, when you sign up for a job, your HR manager is going to look at your social media. First thing, they're going to be like, okay, what's his name? My name is not a very common name, so it comes up quite simple. I'm not a John Smith. So that's like one of the main reasons why I just don't post at all. And if I do have an opinion, I will just mainly talk to my friend groups about it on such topics where it's a bit iffy per se.
But at the same time, if we do not share our opinion, like, I'm going to challenge that one a little bit, and especially when I'm talking about these, how to say this, more authentic. We're talking about authenticity, we're talking about personal branding, we're talking about standing up there and gaining trust and so forth. But if we do not share our opinion, what is then other people going to connect with? What are then other people going to think of us? Like, what do we want to do with that? Or do we rather want to be kind of neutral?
There is a quote that I've heard, and I love that quote. Is if you give, the day you will not give importance to what people are thinking of you, you'll reach a dangerous level of freedom. And when people reach that level of freedom, they're not liked because people envy them to have that freedom. And I think we should not decrease who we are. We could not diminish who we are to satisfy others. If I've got an opinion, I put it on the table. People like it, fantastic. They don't like it, fantastic. And I think this is something that we have to educate our children, the young generation. And I say that to the young people on a table. I mean, the day you're going to have children, make sure you make them confident, self-confident, and you listen every time they say something.
That is that is such an essential point. I have two quite young children, 8 and 6, and the worst thing they can do is tell me, "Oh, nobody wanted to play with me today." But I say, "Fine, find something to do on your own, because you can keep yourself busy." The biggest gift you can give children is for them to not get bored or be dependent because no one else will play with them.
Yes.
So much to do, but that's tough because then they get judged by their friends, and they feel weird.
What if I can share my view on this?
Cheers to that.
Okay, guys, that's an insider, but cheers, Alexandre. That will come back. Point flip, but I see it. That's the downside of the things that are happening right now with Zoom, YouTube, telephone, and so on. People are bringing and it's a biological thing that I'm going to explain now. They are bringing their perception onto really one thing, and it's not opening perception and seeing other possibilities. So it's really hard to train the young people empathy. And empathy is 3 parts are important for empathy. Is no judgment. That's what we already said. The second is taking the other's perspective, being able to take that perspective, and then considering emotion. So everything actually what you already said. And that empathy, they're lacking this experience because they are focusing only on the screens, only on the stuff. And there we have to really to help to open again perception. And then it does also something, of course, with the brain. Danielle knows way more than I do about these kind of things, but it has an effect. And that's the downside of the things. So that people start then to, they don't see even a human reaction. Huh? They write down in the shitstorms and so on. You don't know what you're doing because you don't see the reaction. You don't see what it does to somebody else. So you can unload. Yeah.
And that's exactly, and that is the problem, Pascal. We don't see the people on screen as a real human being. And that is what I talked about with my 16-year-old son. If you write something down in social media, try to imagine that there are people of flesh and blood on the other side of the screen. Because the things we write on social media, we would not dare to say them in real life to a person of flesh and blood who is in front of us. So this dissociation with social media, with the screen, it's dangerous. So that is why we have to educate. We have to remind ourselves and to educate our children. There are real people on the other side of flesh and blood with exactly the same emotions and feelings and vulnerabilities as you have.
Oh, thank you for saying this, Danielle, because this is literally my main message with Connecting Humans. Like, every single person, every name that we're talking to, every profile that we're visiting, every email that we're sending, every whatever it is, right? We're being met by the bus driver, the chauffeur, the waitress. I cannot underline more than how simple it has been for us in some way. I cannot tell you why. I'm just letting this go off my chest right now, to look at people that serve us, male men, male women, whatever, out there, and we do not value them as human beings. We don't even see them, that they have feelings, that they have, all this stuff. Can't go.
Information. Alexandre, cheers to that. Alexandre, cheers to that.
In some countries like Mexico, if you're a waiter, a chef, someone that doesn't have a title, you're not considered. You don't have a job, basically. When I was young, I had an apprenticeship of chef, which, by the way, is a fantastic guacamole. But when I said that to my grandfather in Mexico, he said, well, you want to be a chef, but that's not a job. I said, yes, it is a job. And it is a job that I love to do. And we have a lot of difficulties to understand that people that are serving, that are doing this kind of job, they do that because of passion as well.
And let's not forget that it turns around. I mean, one person will be cleaning the streets today, but at night he's studying for his bachelor's or his PhD or I don't know what. And tomorrow he won't be cleaning the streets, he'll be giving you a job. You never know how life turns around and how it can turn around for you. So yeah, you do need people like people, and not forget what happens. You need to be decent to people. You need to treat them like you want to be treated.
You know, sometimes I have the feeling with the COVID, it's a little bit like that Mother Earth is giving us an Ayurveda treatment. When you do Ayurveda medicine, they give you medicine that first the illness becomes worse until it can become better. So I have a little bit the feeling about that because I had a talk today with a trainer and a coach in Rome in Italy. And she wanted to connect and she wanted to do, she found out, you know, how this works. And she said, oh, I didn't know that this exists, that you can do this and can you do blah, blah, blah. But she said something which at first shocked me. And then afterwards she added something. So what she said to me is, right now companies are waiting here until they are allowed to fire everybody.
Yep.
So
because
and I was like, okay, that's now okay. That was really a slap in the face. But that can also be, and then she said, and that for her meant that what we are doing with training, coaching, helping people, and so on, and also in these connections, what we do, this will be more important than ever. Which will come in the faces in the months and the weeks and the months and the years that we're facing right now. So maybe, and I don't know, but maybe that's a part of this thing, what is happening to us, that this is a huge wake up call. And this is the chance that we have to raise the voice. And then I say, Alexandre.
Let's look at what the audience have been saying, and let's focus the attention a little bit towards the audience for a number of minutes. And I'm just doing it reverse. And let's try to, I was thinking about this, let's try to do this a little bit. One of us kind of react or respond to one of the comments. And here's the latest one from Jess. So it says, sadly, the people need to hear these messages. Most are not attending this session. What should we do about that, Mandy?
I think it's a matter of doing these sessions and others and spreading this type of messages around us as much as possible. And at some point, it has to grow, right? Every movement has to start somewhere and it has to grow out bit by bit. And I really do think that people, if they're not acting like this, it's because they believe it's not accepted. And I think it was just as well the same thing, that when you speak something out that's like contrary to popular belief, everyone jumps on you, like everyone gets angry at you. But why do they get angry at you? Because you put your finger on a sore spot. So actually, it needed to be said. Even if everyone gets angry at you, it doesn't matter. You just need to accept that, and at least the message is out. And I think bit by bit, hopefully, it grows.
Yeah.
Danielle, I have another thing for you here. So true, Mandy. At some point, it needs to be said, right?
Yeah.
It needs to be said. And Danielle, I have something for you here. What do you think about this? Veloslog says that we humans are not, without training, learning, or experience, natural thinking of the rights and needs of others. Is that so?
Could you repeat? I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? I had difficulties understanding. Can you repeat that, please?
So the statement is that, and why are we doing this? I believe he came in with the judgment part and everything. And he says, humans do not, without training, learning, or experience, naturally think of the rights and needs of others. Is that so?
I don't know. Look at little children. All of us who have little children, they are wanting to share. I think it's in our DNA to watch other people and to take care of other people, because we are utterly social beings. We need other people, and we know that, we feel that. But along the way, sometimes I think we learn, it's a learned behavior not to be nice to other people. And of course, we also have these in-group, out-group, my group against the other group. And I think that is where we as parents or coaches or trainers or come in, and we have to educate ourselves, younger people and the people around us, to be aware of that, And I mean, we judge. I'm with Alexandre. We are people who judge. We need to have an overview over the world. We put people or things in boxes, and we have to relearn that to be open and to stay curious to other people, and accept their meaning or their life view in a respectful way, and let's sometimes agree to disagree instead of just judging.
So you're saying that as children, as children, we are not going around thinking what the rights and needs are. We are there as children. We do care about this, but then we are learning over time that we don't talk to the strange person, don't do too much there, and we're learning by time that we shouldn't. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I say. And for example, I travel a lot, and I lived for a long time with the Kokis in South America. And in our Western world, we have this view like, what are my rights? But in another culture, there is, what is my responsibility to the people around me? That's a very different view. And I think I like that view more. Not just what's in it for me, what are my rights, but also what are my responsibilities? How are we going to do this together? Whatever gender or color or culture or whatever,
I can add something to that as well. What influenced us from the childhood again, right? We place our children in front of television. And what they see in television, even cartoons, even Teletubbies, which is a basic cartoon there is, right? You can see violence, you can see competition, you can see things like that, which is not healthy for the children. There's a guy who published a book not long ago that says it's the first generation where intelligence is going down. The children of today are less intelligent than the children of yesterday. And that is because it's easy for parents, okay, my children is bothering me, I just give the phone or the tablet, and like that they can do whatever they want.
That's so true.
That's a wrong thing. You have children, take care of them. You don't give a screen to a child before 6. And after 6 is 20 minutes maximum per day until 12. And how many children's got a phone at 3 years old in their hands?
Andreas, how is that in?
We are concentrating on that, and that's something we have to think of.
Andreas, how is that in Australia?
Back in when I was growing up, my dad, I didn't even have a phone till I was in high school to begin with, because my dad's like, why do you need this? It's not useful. And it was like it was the flip phone back in the day when you had the flip phone. That was the bee's knees back then. I remember that. But the phone or distracting me with TV was never what my parents brought me up with. It was always like, you find a sport, you find something you want to do, you practice it, you learn to entertain yourself, as what we're speaking about now. That's the greatest thing you can teach your children, is when they're bored, not just give them Candy Crush on the phone. That's not going to solve their boredom. That's the whole point of phone games. You last about 4 or 5 days and then you're bored of it. So, it's a big thing that... when I have children, I will, that I'm going to teach them that the phone is not your solution. The phone is the last thing you should be looking for. It took me, I think, 3 years to delete all the games off my phone so I would stop getting in this cycle. But it is incredibly important to teach the current generation and every generation onwards. You have to occupy yourself. Reading. I don't know if kids still read these days, but I don't think they read as much as like I read during school or you guys read during school. I can guarantee that, because it's not as interesting as playing Temple Run.
You know, I'm from a generation that the internet didn't even exist till I was born. You know, when I met the internet when I was 30. You know, before that I had to read books. There was one phone in the house. And speaking of that, did you guys see the Netflix movie, The Social Dilemma? Did you hear of it?
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I heard about it. I haven't seen it.
I can recommend all the listeners now to watch that documentary, and especially to watch it with your children. Very interesting.
It's very, very interesting.
Yeah, Andreas, Andreas, can I give you an advice?
Yeah.
Maybe in a round where you are the Benjamin, please don't say back in the days. That makes us feel really bad.
No, Andreas, I love wonderful.
I'm terribly sorry. I'll find another better choice of words. When I was a young lad, we'll try that one.
I have a question to everybody. I have a question to everybody to reflect on. And I had this conversation with a lady the other day, and I said, you know, what do you think we would have done? Well, I just would have to hear it from the audience and from you. What would have happened if we didn't have social media? So imagine we don't have social media. We might still have phones, but we don't have social media. COVID-19 happened. What would have been the difference?
Maybe I can jump into that. There would be a difference, because in my talks, I always talk about social media, how it connects us with all the people from all over the world, but it doesn't connect us with the people around us, because we're also always in front of our screens. But now, in these times of COVID, I was in quarantine for 2 weeks, for example. I couldn't go out, and we are social beings. We need other people. We need to get in touch with other people. These are the devices now that let us connect to other people, that we could stay in touch with other people, that we could do a lot of interesting things. So without COVID, without these devices during a COVID time, people would be much more lonely than they were now.
Oh, you just said what Elias just had said. Tremendous isolation. Loneliness is an all-time high. And even today, even right now, I believe loneliness is at an all-time high, right?
An all-time high, and loneliness kills, guys. It's so, it makes you sick, it makes you ill. Yeah.
I mean, it's good I would say, like, in moderation, because I love to be around people all the time, and I always like to do things, organize things, go out of my way, outside my comfort zone, as Pascal would say, and all that. But I think, like, when I came back, I just came back from a 6-month internship, which finished at the start of this month, and I've had this whole entire month, no work, no university, nothing, just sitting on myself. But it's also good to reflect. I would say, like, loneliness in small amounts is beautiful. I mean, if you see this thing right here, this is the tree of life, which Pascal taught me. And I haven't done that for a long time. But this board was empty, and I was sitting here by myself, and I was like, I've got to do this. And this is a wonderful exercise. Recommend it to a lot of people. But I would say, like loneliness, little bit, not a lot, but it's good to reflect on yourself, because if there is no loneliness, you just go 100 miles an hour, in my opinion, and you just don't stop. That's it. And I had to witness that firsthand, and then understand that sometimes it's good to be alone, just a little bit.
But Andreas,
absolutely true.
If I can add something to that, Andreas, not a lot of people are ready to have that little amount of loneliness.
I was going to say something similar there, because I totally agree with you, by the way. I think it's so important, and it really goes back to this capacity. Are you able to be on your own or not? Anyway, having put that aside, I think that chosen loneliness, if you go and isolate yourself for a week or 2 weeks or however long you choose to isolate yourself, is one thing. But if it's imposed upon you, like, for example, now it was during Corona, and it's really terrible for the older people, right? In the old homes.
Exactly, 110%.
And that's a totally different thing. I see it all the time with people that lose their job or that quit their job. And the way that they live that period of unemployment is totally different because they've made the choice or it was imposed on them. And that really does make quite a big difference.
Huge difference. Yeah, huge difference.
But I think like with loneliness, you need to, the first time you ever end up with loneliness, and I mean, we can use COVID for an example for people that haven't had loneliness before, when you have to isolate by yourself. The first week of COVID, everyone was pretty much just surfing the web and enjoying their free time because they've never had such sudden free time. And then the second week they were enjoying it, and by the third week they had no idea what to do with themselves. And that's when loneliness hits, and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I need to find something to do. And then it takes each person their own time. But for me, it usually like 4th or 5th week, you're like, okay, you can reflect on yourself. I mean, that's just one example. For me, it happened a lot earlier in my childhood, so it was quite easy. But I knew a lot of friends dealing with it in that way for themselves.
Let me share a comment here that I thought was striking based on our current conversation. Is that a cheers on that?
That was a cheers to that.
Yeah, it was Mathieu on Facebook. Just gave us
wine.
Okay.
So,
let me share something that Renee shared. I think it's striking. She says that kids do read, and we have to be careful to not deny children to access to screens as they learn a lot. And her daughter is creating amazing animations on her screen, but loves reading books too. And especially in Enid Blyton from when I was a child. We need to trust our children too. Ooh, and that last line was like, wow.
Yeah, that last one.
Can I go on that because I'm the one who brought the subject? Okay, Renee, you're totally right. I'm not saying you should take away screen from children. However, when you bring a screen to children, you must be there with them. And let them explore. Definitely.
Screens have become
just one word. Screen should not be something you give to your children for you to have peace. That was my message before.
Yeah.
If you give screen to children in order to educate them and to teach them how to read, to make them like or love to read, I entirely agree with you.
And
does everyone agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
It depends. Not that's not depending, but it says actually more about Renee being a role model than about the general approach to this. So that's if that's so with her children, I'm so happy to hear that. But we need even more people. So actually, what my takeaway is, we have maybe not to teach the kids, but to teach the parents a little bit.
Yeah,
to be
that's
better role
exactly.
models.
Of course, Pascal, you're right. You're right.
Because they don't know. And I saw also another comment, the last one from Dr. Elia. Me time is necessary. That's very different than loneliness. And that was actually what I wanted to say also to add to you guys. I would say call it me time, because loneliness, you can be also lonely in a group of people.
Yeah.
You can also that's more a feeling, and me time that's very very important. Which helped me also to discover my talent, my passion. The talent was always there, but I was then traveling the world, so I looked for the solution outside or the answer outside. The answer was always in, and with the time when I took that time to reflect on these things, which is an awful lot of time ago, but that was the moment where I heard that whisper, this is what you have to do. So yeah, me time is very, very important, and to offer that to the children.
Beautifully said, Pascal, because only when you are quiet, when your brain is quiet, you can hear your inner voice. We call that a noisy brain in neuroscience. You know, it's like you're in a cafe where there's a lot of noise and music and your cell phone is ringing. You just don't hear it because there is a lot of noise. And that's also happening in our own brain. The moment we don't take me time and we don't slow down and we take time to listen to our inner voice, because it whispers to us all the time, we have to take time for that. So yeah, I agree totally.
Beautiful. Let's see. Sorry, Mandy, go ahead.
No, I was just going to go on a little rant because, Pascal, you touched on a topic that really drives me crazy, and that's this tendency of our society to put the blame on external factors. And when in fact we forget to look at internal factors that were within us. So this is really something that I think, external factors, there will always be shit happening. There will. But there are things you can do. And we love to forget about that. So I just wanted to say that. It was on the tip of my tongue. I had to get it out.
Bravo, Mandy. Bravo. Thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. We're coming to point. First of all, I'd love to turn the focus to the audience for just 15 seconds to say, I see that we have about 20 people with us. And I don't know if I'm the only one curious to wonder, who are you and where are you? Who are you? Where are you? There's a very simple little thing of, I would love to know and bring you all into the table, so to say. If you just want to comment there below, hey, my name is, and I am in. That would be just a great idea, perspective to see who are we talking with around this table. I would love to bring up, and once we listen to that, I would love to bring up a new topic with you that will kind of close this one out for today, I think. I had a conversation with a young lady not long ago. She's very into this personal development movement, self-improvement, personal growth. And I started to talk to her because I thought, there could be great kind of collaboration or something. We can do something together here. Because I still saw that she was young and new into the field. And we started to talk. And then she tells me this, but Erik, I don't lack confidence. I don't have any real problems. And I read all these personal development books because I like to share what they say, but I don't do anything per se of what they do. I don't do anything of that. It's not for me. I just love to share it with the world. And I started to think, here we have an example of something, at least I have noticed a lot, and I would like to know from you and everyone in the audience. Have you also noticed that there's a lot of people that are into the personal development movement? They love to reach quotes, memes, even books. They like to take a course once in a while. But, Mandy, you triggered me here. They don't apply it. They talk about it. What's your thought on that?
That's bullshit.
Yeah. That's it.
Sorry,
Absolute class.
Was that a judgment?
Why bullshit? Explain, Mandy, why?
Why?
All right, here we go.
Because it's appearances. They're so worried about how they're coming across. I hear all of this, I say this, I have my quotes. I love quotes too, by the way. I think they are really inspiring, but it's because they resonate with me. But I think that, and it's not meant as a judgment, but I really do think that we're a society of people pleasers that are always trying to appear perfect. They're always trying to appear a certain way. But when it comes to applying it, we're either too scared or we don't know how, or we don't dare ask for help. So this is really frustrating. And for me, it comes back to let it out in the open. We're not perfect, and that's okay. But it's only in accepting that we can actually get better. And sorry if I'm rude, and I don't mean to be judgmental, but I do think that we just need to accept who we are and not pretend to be someone else.
Of authenticity. We need to be authentic, but not for the face of people. We need to be authentic with ourselves.
Exactly.
If we're authentic with ourselves, then the rest goes along. We're not being afraid to be judged by the others or to be condemned by the others, as I used to say.
And that's easy. It's easier said than done. So I appreciate what I'm saying. Sounds very easy, and I'm just throwing it out there. It's not easy, actually. It's very difficult, but it is worth doing. And I think that it's,
But that's also a whole different topic, if it's easier, if it's difficult or anything. But I can share that I thought I was sitting there with my phone in my hand after this conversation. I looked at it really baffled and just thought, wow. This is this person who goes on Instagram and shares a lot of stuff. She's tons of followers, tons of them. If you just look at it, it looks like she's totally into this, right? And when she said that, I was just like, yeah. And I also saw stories when she's journaling and she's doing these exercises, which for me, when I'm looking at it, being like, wait, you're doing this in front of the camera, and you're clearly doing it for the camera, not for yourself. And I felt a disconnect. I felt a huge disconnection in that behavior.
Harmony is probably helping a lot of people with what she's showing and what she's doing. It's harder probably for her, but probably if she's showing all of this stuff, she may very well be helping a lot of people, which is why she's got so many followers. So in her way, she's also doing a good thing, but it's difficult to live in accord with what you show and who you are.
Exactly. I mean, to be open who we are, it is very difficult. Not for me today. Today, I've learned, I mean, since many years, what you see is what you get. If you're not happy, well, pass your way. However, there are a lot of people who are afraid to be themselves. They need to show, okay, this is my profile, you only film that way. No. As you said, Mandy, we are not perfect.
No.
Actually, I would go, a bit further. We have said that in previous session we had. We are perfect in our imperfections. And that's what makes us unique. I don't want to be looking like any others. This is who I am, and I'm very proud of it. I know I've got flaws, I've got virtues. That makes who I am.
I mean, to err is human.
Exactly.
But what is still then the base that people learn? So that doesn't say a lot about her. So we should not judge that, but we should judge what she learned. We should judge what she learned. She learned to do that. She learned to be afraid to show these things. She learned to have fear, and that's what we should question, and maybe not even judge, but question. How can
Thank you, Pascal, for bringing that up. Yes.
So that's a little bit when I also read what the people are writing in the chat. So thanks for interacting. I think that's very important that we have to question that. So it's not her fault.
No.
It's society. It's society. And the older I get, the more I dare to be vulnerable, and I open up. I mean, I have a lot of conversations with Pascal, and I dare to say what I'm where I'm anxious and what I'm doing good and what is going not so well at the moment. But society is putting this pressure on us. So I think it's huge from that lady, Erik, that she opened up to you and said, I'm reading all these self-help books. I'm bringing it out in the open, but I don't know how to, put that wisdom on myself. And let's be honest, people, I'm on stage, I'm doing coaching, I write, I'm columnist for several newspapers. But sometimes when I look at myself and see how I'm stumbling and not able, to get myself out of a situation, I know I have to ask help from the people around me. But sometimes I think, what am I doing? I know better, but why am I not doing better? So I'm very much for not judging, and let's help each other with that, because we all stumble from time to time.
All stumble, and these behaviors originate from a protection mechanism, right? They don't just fall out of nowhere. And Danielle, you said earlier on, when we're children, we want to help each other, and then somewhere along the line we get hurt, and then we toughen up, and then we develop all this like shell around us.
Yeah.
And come out of it.
Completely understand.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I knew that little thing was sparky conversation around this table tonight. Okay, coming towards we have 5 minutes, and the 5 last minutes, I would just like to first give to the amazing guests. I would like to applaud you and gratefully say thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for having us.
With us too, but to the golden moment. And the golden moment is this moment when I'm going to start with Danielle, and then I go to Andreas and with Mandy. I'm simply going to ask, could you share to the audience in 30 seconds or maybe 45 seconds, something, a snippet here that what is it you do right now that could help the audience? That's something that they can do, something you're offering to the world that the audience could follow you along with, buy into, to take a course or whatever it is. Is there something that you do right now that could add value to everyone who has been listening? Danielle first.
I think there are a few things. Just take care of yourself, because there's strange times. We need the energy. So eat well, sleep well, exercise. Be careful with, be very sensitive with the people you are connecting with, because we are the 5 people we surround ourselves with. So be careful which people bring joy and can help you and are good in the interaction. I think that are the most important things. And what I do now is people who seek help or need some coachings, I just help them. They can write to me, they can call me. I try to figure things out with them. And sometimes it just needs one conversation, just like you're going to a doctor and you have a pain in your back. And, with one conversation, you think, oh, now I'm doing better. Now I'm doing fine. And these are the interactions I love so much. So that's what I offer the people around me.
Okay. You heard it. And Danielle, where in the world are you?
In Holland, in the Netherlands.
In the Netherlands. And you heard it. Eat well, sleep well, exercise, be conscious of who you surround yourself with.
Yes, absolutely. Fundamental.
Thank you so much, Danielle. Moving all the way down to Andreas.
Yes. So what I would say to everyone, for me, it was a bit of a, but for anyone that's looking for a job or looking for any bit of help or trying to find out what's going on, I found it quite recently. Ask your connections. Sometimes you don't just have to go through the nominal way of trying to find something, but if you think outside the box and you think about your problem, and you wonder, hey, what if I did this? Don't listen to the other voice in the back of your head that says, don't do this. Just do it. See what happens. You live once. Listen to the, what if I did this? Go outside of your box. And for me, it solves my problems. And I guarantee you it will solve your problems as well in this current time.
Wonderful. So I summarize that as a little bit here as an ask for help from the ones you already know, your network, right? And go outside your box.
Exactly.
Okay. And where are you right now, Andreas?
I'm currently in Germany.
Big country.
Yeah, exactly. The Australian living in Germany. I love this place so much.
Where are you? Cologne?
No, I'm actually south of Bonn in a little tiny place called Unkel.
Oh, that sounds sexy.
Which means uncle in English, but that's a different story.
I know there is a there. There is a bakery. I know it.
Yeah, it's a little tiny beautiful town. That's great.
All right, jumping over Andreas, over to Mandy.
So I think my advice, I'm going to go back to something I mentioned earlier. When you're trying to solve an issue or get out of a situation, look at the things you can control and take small practical steps to move forwards, rather than be frustrated at the things that are going on around you that anyway you have no control over, like the current pandemic that we're experiencing. You don't have control over it, but you do have control over how you think about it, what you do from day to day. So I really think that improves your quality of life, how you experience it, and your mental strength, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
And what can I offer? So actually, I'm in career development, and I've got a webinar coming up, a free webinar, which anyone's free to register to if they want to, whereby we actually look at this. What are the things that you can do? What are the small practical steps that you can take? Because I hear all the time at the moment, things are opening up a little bit. I could go back to the way things were, but I don't want to anymore. But what do I do instead? So yeah, that's really how I'm trying to support people. Small practical.
Could we get a link to that in the comments? Because I'm very interested in that.
Yes. I will find that for you and send it over.
Beautiful. The link I'm zooming in to your LinkedIn because you have it there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm zooming in there right now too, and I see that. Look at what you can do something about. Take small steps from there, and then on top of this, you also have a free webinar coming up quite shortly. When is that webinar?
It's on 1st and 2nd of October. There's several time slots on those 2 days.
Okay,
Perfect.
and for everybody who is interested, here is the link coming up for you right there.
Great, thank you.
And okay, super duper. So I think the easiest way to say, if you zoom over to beinspired.com, you can find more about Mandy's career development and taking those small steps from there. All right, then. I at this moment just gonna leave it to the gentleman. Do you have any last words to the guests?
Yes.
Oh,
I would say 3 things. First one is walk the talk. Don't pretend. Just do what you say you want to do. Be yourself. Second, be an example for the others, not to brag about it. Just because you walk the talk, you will be that example. And the third thing, pass it on. Something that you have, pass it on. Teach to someone else. That's it,
Beautiful.
baby. That's it.
Okay. Pascal, do you have any last words to the guests?
yes. Something that I can be now a wise ass and say it, because I also forget it more
Cheers.
than I want to. Cheers to that. But it is not forgetting to laugh. Not forgetting to laugh. It is so crazy. I had such a hard first part of the day, but then I had contact with some other people, and suddenly the whole day is different, and I'm so happy. And I remember, I know that Alexandre and Andreas, they know it, to do a laugh cocktail. You remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love cocktail.
Can we do that? And the others just switch in? Do you know still how to do that? I do the first one myself, and then you just join. And we do that 3 times. We do that 3 times. Let's
Yes, I remember this. This is class. Yes.
You remember. Okay, we do that all together. Of course, everybody at home can join. And we're going to make a laughing cocktail. So we're going to shake the cocktail 3 times, and then we're going to laugh. And the whole thing we're going to do 3 times. So it goes like this. Oh, 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 ah, and again. Oh, and the third time. And I promise you, the third time you will really laugh, and I see it at your faces.
That's great. You can turn any terrible situation into a great situation. It's perfect. Within reason, of course. Within reason.
No reason. Just drink that laughing cocktail.
Yeah.
Danielle, Andreas, Mandy, thank you so much. I am shifting over to the green room right now.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, just cut it off mid-sentence. Oh, okay. Okay, gentlemen, that was dinner number 2, and everybody's still with us. Thank you so much. I think we have people from a little bit all over the place right now. So Carolina, Elia, Martina, Matthew. Yeah, I wasn't able to keep up with everything. What did I miss?
Well, I think it's nice that, for example, Mark Turner is there from Seattle, a really nice known person over there. Tycho is there. I saw it. Collins from Germany. It's really nice that the people tune in, and it's really from all over the place. It's so nice to see that they want to contribute something.
So we said that I see there's Eindhoven, there's Bonn in Germany, there's UK, rainy UK, there's Colorado.
Because I'm following the Facebook. There is a lot of people from Switzerland as well. But people from London, people from Russia, people from Mexico. I've got quite a lot.
Cody is again there. I see Rudi again. Is also there.
What did you, so to close off this session for everybody who's still with us in the audience, I say thank you from my side right now. Just like, thank you. That was an awesome Thursday. I woke up kind of like you, Pascal. I began my day. I really began my day on a low, really low. And then the sun came out and I went out for a little walk and I started to shift things around, but I had a phone call. And that phone call shifted everything in my life. So ladies and gentlemen, sometimes in your life, just pick up the phone and have that phone call.
Very good. Yes.
Or make the choice to be happy in the morning.
Yeah. What do you have? Do you have any final words to the audience for this dinner number 2? Anything we can look forward to number 3? Alexandre, can you just finish with saying, what did you make today? And
okay, what I made today is a very simple guacamole. Onion, tomatoes, avocado, cilantro, which is fresh coriander, some lime juice, salt. That was it. Some Tabasco as well. I mean, in order to bring that spicy, otherwise you could put pepper. And that was a fantastic thing. So I will not give the recipe because that's my secret. Of course, I will share it if you want to. No problem.
For anybody who wants that recipe, just send me a message. All right. All right. Pascal, do you have any last words?
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. We're coming back on Thursday next week at 7 p.m. Central European Time. This is Connecting Humans Live. My name is Erik. Up to your left, you have Pascal Strauss. Up to your right, you have Alexandre Gamberoni. And we just like to give it the real shot from time to time.